Good afternoon and welcome back to the Kenwood Country Club. We have a terrific final between Juan Araya and Max Lippevere playing against Ryan Baxter and Ricky Heath. I'm joined in the booth again by Brian Heil. Brian, welcome back to the booth, and why don't you share your thoughts on the match with our listeners?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, 4 extremely talented players. I actually think throughout the match, I think Max is going to be the X factor in this match. Athletically, Ryan and Ricky are more of a reactionary team and have exploded there up at the net in their quick exchanges and reacted to whatever the other team brings to you. And Marco and George in the previous round displayed a whole bunch of offensive capabilities, which Ryan and Ricky had an answer for nonstop in the second and third sets. And needless to say, Juan is extremely talented and is going to get very aggressive and offensive, and I think if Max is able to be stable on that side and set Juan up, I think that's going to be a big deal. If Max starts breaking down a little bit, then Juan might start to press. Should be very entertaining, though.
Why don't you talk a little about the tempo that Max and Juan played at in their last 2 matches, quarters and semis we watched together?
Well, I think the stability of Max has really been the most beautiful part of their chemistry. He is so stable. He's dumping balls off the back screen. He's chipping. He blitzes. He's lobbing very well. He's mixing up the lobs and setting up Juan. He blitzes a few times off Juan's offense, and it's quite remarkable that. Is this their second tournament they played in Charities?
Actually, third tournament. They played a Region 2 PCQ called the Paddle Player Open, which they won.
Okay.
Then lost in the semis of Charities to Parsons Durant, and this is their third tournament together.
They're really meshing well. I like the way they each complement each other from a style of play. And we talked yesterday about in the quarters about basically Baxter and Heath playing an entire match really in a neutral position and not show any offense. Do you think they're going to have to do more here in the finals if they're going to beat Max and Juan?
Yeah, I really do. Juan puts too much pressure on you from the nets with his overheads, and I just don't see them standing back there lobbing. I thought that Marco and George had a lot of bad overheads in the semis that got them some offense. Ricky in particular was not looking for his offense at all. He hit a couple of backhands off the backside wire. Ryan brought most of the offense, but that's not going to work. The other factor to me, which is going to be maybe the dispositive one in the match, is Ricky's overheads. He likes to hit that high jumping overhead that bounces, and Juan's going to tear that up if he continues to hit that.
I agree. I think Juan is one of the best in the game at that. Peter Burka does a really good job of jumping the jump overhead there and dumping it back at your feet, but I agree 100% there. I think that's going to be a shot that Ricky's going to have to put in the bag here in the finals.
Is he willing to do that?
We'll find out.
Yeah, Max and Juan's semifinal win over the number 3 team in the country, Goodspeed and Bacher, that was some exhibition, one of the best exhibitions of paddle I think I've ever seen.
It really was. I thought Juan and Max played 2 bad games, and I think they still won one of them.
Yeah.
And they looked very good.
And when a team that's 3 in the country struggles to win 2 games, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I think the point you made earlier, which is a great one, Brian, is how comfortable Juan looks with Max. When he's comfortable with his partner, he doesn't press. He waits for the right opportunity, and when he does that, he's devastating because he's got so many ways to hurt you.
He does, and I've played Juan with, I think I've played Juan 4 times with 4 different partners, and that's the number one thing for me is Juan needs to be comfortable with his partner. There's no question on what he can do, but if he's not comfortable with his partner, he feels like he needs to make his talent more relevant, and when that happens, he starts pressing, and quite frankly, against a good team, it's detrimental to him.
Having played enough matches with Juan, I can see him pressing since he doesn't trust me at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wouldn't either.
Smart, too. I thought Max lobbed exceptionally well in the semifinal match. Just really had them scrambling all over the place. And that's the other thing I saw from Ricky in the quarters yesterday was way too many backhand overheads. If you're hitting backhand overheads against this team, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, Ricky's the one that really flashes that out. It's almost like he's okay with hitting it, but he's not going to win those points today.
Well, Ricky's so athletic, you have to assume he's okay with hitting it because he moves so well. that you have to think he can get himself in position to hit those overheads if he wants.
Yeah, no, I think it's a decision. I think he's just accepting that it's lobbed to his backhand. I'm just going to hit it, and he makes it. But when you got your back to the net there after you do your little 180, you're in trouble here. Turn around, you'll eat it.
The thing about Ricky and Ryan that strikes me is they're just so talented athletically that they haven't really been forced to do things the right way.
Yeah, you can say the right way, but make sure you throw it in quotes because, if it's working, it's their right way.
Yeah, that's true. The question is what happens when you get up against someone who is as athletic and talented as you are.
We'll find out here. These guys are extremely disciplined. It looks like they have a game plan, Max and Juan. They've executed it, and quite frankly, dismantling their opponents throughout the tournament here. And Ricky and Ryan have definitely relied on their reactionary skills, reactionary paddle, and their athletic ability to negate some of the offensive firepower that the other team is purposely setting up. They're getting the ball that they want, and Ricky and Ryan are able to react and negate some of their, we'll call them set plays. So it'll be interesting.
So what do we need to look for from Ricky and Ryan to combat what we've seen from Max and Juan to make this a competitive match, which quite frankly Juan and Max really haven't played one yet?
Yeah, that's true. No, I feel from a backcourt standpoint, I think Ricky needs to get more involved offensively. We can't rely totally on Ryan, and I think they need to do that early. If they get into a situation where they get down, and Ricky's been lobbing the majority of his returns, for example, if that's happening early and then they get down and he's asked to bring more to the table, he hasn't taken a swing at a ball since warm-ups, so it's not going to work. He's got to come out swinging a little bit, not crazy, but show that he's willing to drive some balls, at least make them volley. He doesn't have to go big, just make them volley, make the overheads feel like they need to be a little bit better from Max and Juan, and know that they can't just keep dumping to Ricky, and as long as they don't go hard off that back screen, they're not going to get hurt. He's got to show something off the deck, I think, early.
And where do you think Ricky put that forehand away in the semis? I mean, that forehand's a big shot.
It is. I've been hit by it a lot. I have probably the best hands in my household. Of course, my daughter Hannah's 3. She's getting there.
So another couple weeks, you think?
Probably next Thursday. Temperature's a lot better today, Mark.
A lot better. Probably about
yesterday I was sitting there, I felt like a turtle wearing a sweater out there. My toes were so cold. Today's nice.
It'd be nicer to be playing, but it's an absolutely perfect day to play. There's no sun at all.
Yes,
Overcast,
no wind.
No winds.
It's a beautiful day. It's a
and
nice day for an afternoon.
Yeah, nice and warm enough that it's really not a factor at all. I think the key to the match is Ricky and Ryan have got to take Juan and Max out of their comfort level. If they play as comfortably as they did the last two rounds, they're going to be very difficult to beat. We've got to put them under some pressure, which they simply haven't been under. I mean, Rob and Flip had no answers to find that method.
From start to finish, Max and Juan have dictated play from both at the net and from the baseline, mixing up their lobs, setting each other up, shifting and showing offense almost after every single lob. There's never, even though they lob 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in a row, every time they're showing that offense, and it puts pressure and makes their opponents get back in and look for the volley and have to move backwards to hit overheads. And they've really dictated play. It's going to be interesting to see if Ryan and Ricky can do that.
Max has really been the consummate deuce court player, not looking to win points, looking to set up Juan with his soft shots, with his lobs, even with his harder drives.
Yeah, he's not as explosive as some of the other deuce court players that were in the quarters and beyond, but he's so dynamic, and he's so stable, and he's very quick, athletic, and there's really not a weakness.
Now his game is rock solid, and he's taken us out to serve for the third consecutive match. Here's a good ball right up for Ricky's forehand to begin with. Juan and Max switching at the net to get Juan's overhead in the middle. That was an uncomfortable looking ball, wasn't it? You think Ryan and Ricky are going to be nervous?
Yeah, of
First
course.
NRT final?
Yeah.
For Max as well. Juan misses the slash.
And he's gonna need to miss a couple of those, so he doesn't keep hitting them for Ryan and Ricky to get away with some of the short lobs they might hit. Again, like I said yesterday, a talented Juan is nothing compared to a confident Juan. And if he starts making some errors off his overheads, then that'll give Ricky and Ryan a little bit of leeway on their lobs.
Yeah, Ryan did a couple uncomfortable looking shots to start the match.
I think that's a ball you drive early if you're Ricky.
Yeah, I'd like to see Ricky be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, he's not only showing that he's not going to play offense, but he's so flat-footed. Example A.
Yeah, that's a good call, Brian. Makes it very hard to adjust all of Juan's spins. I think it's imperative they get off to a good start.
A good start is probably the second most important thing you need to do in the match besides a good finish. Do you think Juan's going to bait Ricky to hit that overhead and wait till a big point to take it away, or do you think he'll take it away right off the bat?
I think he's going to take it away early and send the message you can't do that. Back to deuce. Great slash from Juan.
Got Ricky moving in, thinking it was going to be one of the droppers. Well disguised, beautifully executed.
I formation. Oh, that's a beautiful lob from Max. Great shot from Ryan.
That's what I was saying prior to. They're such a reactionary team, and I think athletically they're going to be able to take away some of that stuff that has worked. But I'd love to see them actually initiate some of the offense. And so far, there's an example of Ricky trying to initiate something and making an error. But
I like that forehand, though. I think that's the ball you got to swing at.
I think he has to, but so far they haven't done it. They haven't shown it. And the only points they're winning is almost when the other team initiates and causes chaos. Ricky and Ryan are winning all the chaos points.
That's a lot to rely on, though, isn't it?
There's that only offense that Ricky showed in the other semi. That hard off the back side screen, the jumping two-hander.
Max's volleying technique is perfect for our league players to watch. Paddle just doesn't move at all. It's in front of his body. It's almost like his opponent is hitting the ball at him.
Yeah, I always say if the ball's going to hit you in the belly button, you're in a perfect spot. Anything besides that, you're out of position. A little press there by Ricky, I think.
Yeah, I want to see where they can hurt him from the backcourt. I mean, because Max and Juan are going to test their patience
Yeah, no doubt, and I think Ricky is aware that he's going to have to play some offense, and same with Ryan. But when a ball's lower than the net and you try to flick in a one-handed backhand, like I said yesterday, desperation is stinky cologne.
You got that right. And that ball goes over the net, so what?
I like Ricky taking all those overheads that he just did. I don't know if Ryan should be taking these. Yeah, there's too many holes there, I think, Mark.
Also changing direction with the ball way too much, because then you have to shift, and that creates all sorts of problems.
Beautiful dig by Max. I think Max's first unforced error there. Off a ball I haven't even seen him attempt in the entire tournament.
There's that hard serve that Ricky likes to hit that Juan is going to make him pay for with those back wires.
First switch of the tournament here. Ricky on the ad side and midpoint. Juan hits a average shot. I think he mishit it a little bit. It spun back into the net after it went over the net.
Well, he's got
Didn't hit it clean.
Got a lot of confidence in that shot. That's a chaos point, as you refer to them, that they're not going to win that often. They won that one, but I don't like that play.
That's how they've been winning them, though. You know, and we'll see what happens here as it pans out. But it's a tough way to live.
Especially against a team as athletic as this one. And there's that overhead that I do not like into the side wire. Max is going to make a living on that one.
I think that Ricky should be taking the majority of those overheads and hitting that lefty sort of half slash spin
30 all
up to Juan and let it spin off the back screen to Max's backhand. And even more towards the middle, towards Juan. Make Juan come all the way over as the ball's spinning away from him to play that forehand.
There's that pressure. The different shots, different tempos. Break point. Really important to get off to a good start. Here goes the first game. 2-love, Raya and Lipaver. And this looks a little bit like the semis to me, Brian. That was not a comfortable looking swing, was it?
Not a confident swing, yes. I think it's a ball he needs to swing at.
Right ball to hit. Just didn't really execute. But Ricky and Ryan have really lobbed poorly so far. They're getting no depth at all. See Juan's hitting the overheads from inside the service line, both feet.
I don't like Ryan taking that overhead.
And that's why. Yeah, too many balls into Juan's corner. 30-love.
Juan's going to make himself relevant in this match. I think the way they're placing their overheads, they're allowing him to be relevant. He's going to do it anyways, but they're just giving it to him.
The other factor is Ricky volleys way too much on his forehand side, and Juan knows that, and he's going to hit that backhand up the line just like he did last point.
Quick 3-0 start.
Okay, so the train is rolling fast. What do you want to do differently?
Well, what do you think of the chances throughout the tournament that Ricky misses that lob wide? How many times have you seen that happen?
Haven't.
That's right. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's the name of the game.
I don't see any strategy from Baxter and Heath at the net. I don't see what they're trying to accomplish. I see them hitting balls. I see them changing sides. I don't see them doing anything in particular.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, there's a difference between the ability to make shots or shot making and then hitting shots with a purpose. And right now they're just hitting shots. They don't seem to have a rhyme or reason on who's taking the overhead or the location in which they're hitting it. That's not to say they can't turn this thing around, but I'd like to see a little more breakdown efforts.
Well, the first thing they got to do is they got to lob better.
It's just a matter of time. If you hit one bad lob against someone who has an effective or offensive overhead as Juan or Brian Uline, these types of guys, Johan, it's just a matter of time. You hit one bad lob, they're going to break you down within the first 3-4 balls after that. It just gets your lobs just get shorter and shorter.
And you really sense an impatience from Ricky and Ryan in the backcourt. I mean, that was a ball Ricky should have lobbed. He made a good forehand.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably there's that forehand volley you alluded to.
Yep.
I think Ricky's probably aware that he needs to bring more to the table, but he's pressing on balls that he should not be driving. I think he needs to be looking for balls that he should be driving, and then if it's lower than the net, then lob. He's lobbed the entire tournament.
Great half by Max.
This is the little chaos that Ricky and Ryan have lived by there.
But they're now up against a team of equal athleticism and sound technique. One catches the top of the tape. That was a good swing. Like Max blitzing on that ball.
Well, like Mike Tyson, I think, said it, or maybe it was my grandma, but everyone has a game plan till you punch him in the mouth.
Love that line, Brian.
Yeah.
Use it all the time.
I'll tell my grandma.
I'm going to give her credit.
She won't be able to hear you, but she'll take it.
There's that soft overhead against the side wire that Ricky's so fond of.
That's the ball right there. That lob. Don't want Juan doing this all day.
Here it is.
Unbelievable hands by Ryan. Good positioning by Juan. Absolutely filthy
Just
volley.
brilliant play. Ricky and Ryan got to have a strategy. Right now they don't have a strategy.
If he was a little more talented, he probably could have stuck that volley better. But
Brian, do you think these guys are happy to have made the finals?
I don't. I really don't.
I hope that's the case. They had that look to me, though.
I've been in situations where you're thrilled that you're in that position, but as soon as you start playing, then you're not happy.
They're rushing. They don't look comfortable. It's gotten so bad that Max and Juan apologize to each other after winning points now.
That one was well struck.
Yeah, good ball. 15-all. I'm not going to win that point too often.
I think think that's how they drew it up. The let cord jumping backhand winner. First bad miss really on Ryan's forehand. So from the backcourt, Mark, where do you think they should be playing? I agree that their lobs are not deep enough or high enough, but where do you think they should be hitting these lobs? Try to neutralize Juan's spins.
I think they gotta find Max more. Ryan just keep hitting that lob down the cross court. And I think they've got to show more offense from the backcourt. There's too much standing around. I really don't like Ricky's neutral position.
What about what Ryan's doing right there? Driving a handful of balls at Max, maybe mixing up the height of the ball. I was just going to say that. Rather than letting Juan do what he just did, make Max hit a couple of off-pace volleys. Do you think that's going to change anything?
You got to ask the question.
I don't think Max is going to break down.
But you got to ask the question. You can't just keep playing the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a much better point to me. They've lobbed better. They've gotten some good offensive swings. Even that miss there.
Yeah, he got a good look at it.
That's a good swing. I like that. I'd like to see Ricky more aggressive. I'd like to see Ricky up against that side wire a little bit, presenting the forehand more, putting some more pressure on them. Point for 5-love. Big forehand from Ryan, and Juan has an answer. One of our esteemed paddle gurus, Mark Parsons, thinks they've got to be driving Juan's overhead more off the deck. That they're giving him too much time to set up, and they have to be attacking a little bit more.
That's kind of what I was saying there, where you just drive a few balls at Max. Yeah. You're not doing it to try to win the point or end the point. But you got to keep them a little more relevant. You can't just keep hitting the same lob or the same spot, and they're not high enough and they're not deep enough. I agree. Mark might have a future in this sport.
Let's not go overboard. They're just giving him too much time to set up, too much time to get ready for the next ball. It's the nice thing about taking the ball off the deck is you steal time from your opponent. That's a great volley.
It's not a bad overhead by Ricky. I don't know why he's not taking more. If Ryan takes that overhead, there's too many offensive opportunities over there. I think that's got to be Ricky's. I'll stop saying that. I've made my point.
I'm in complete agreement with you.
Thought about it.
That's a great lob. Good ball by Ricky. So why is Ryan even getting in the way on that ball? That's a great read by Max. The thing that's most surprising to me is, who do you think Ryan and Ricky perceive to be the better player on the other side of the court?
Well, if it were me, then it would not be me.
But again,
I think the traditional play balls to the ad side player, to the backhand or whatever, that's not going to work here. So I agree with you.
They have a lefty on the court. Find out what Max has got. I mean, obviously he's played some great paddle. But of the two of them, would you prefer to hit the ball to Max or Juan?
Yeah.
They were lucky to win that game. I mean, that last overhead was a terrible overhead that Juan just happened to miss a relatively easy forehand. They have a lefty. They can easily play the deuce court player.
The ability to isolate whatever shot you want with a righty-lefty combo, that's a huge benefit, and they're definitely not utilizing it. They're just trading off too many shots.
15 love. 5-1, 15 love, first set. Boy, Max is
I also would like, sorry to interrupt, I also would like Ricky to maybe start up into no man's land there when Ryan's really laying into some forehands, and these guys are fighting off a few volleys, but all they have to do is put their volley in the court and the point's at neutral. Ricky hasn't made himself present at all off Ryan's forehand, at least the return. If he doesn't play the entire match up there, then I get it. But Marco did a great job of that in the last match, putting himself in the middle of the court and looking to pick off a weak volley.
A couple of great volleys from Max.
Ricky is flat-footed in a neutral position with a continental grip. He's standing in a continental grip. It just shows that he's not willing to swing at that forehand.
Yeah, and that presents zero pressure.
Even the way he's returning serve, he still has that continental grip.
I don't think that Max and Juan aren't picking up on that.
I'm like 80-40 on my lob drive on the return, but I always start in my forehand grip.
I stay with my forehand grip as long as possible. .40-15 double set point. Maybe Ricky and Ryan haven't met Juan before. Same thing, Conti forehand. Game in first set. Raya Lipiver, 6-1. Okay, so let's say you're out there with him now.
Yeah,
you're
we've
the
said
coach.
it every match that we've called with Juan and Max. We talk about the second set and what the opposing team needs to do. Every match we've done it, and no one seemed to figure out an answer here. I think the fact that Ricky needs to just show or be willing to hit more offense, especially on that forehand side. He doesn't need to swing and end the point with the shot, but he needs to make them volley. He needs to show that he's willing to drive a few balls. They can't stay back and just lob and let Juan. How would you rate Juan's overhead in all of the shots on the court as, close to being the most effective or offensive shot? Where would you put it?
Clearly, it's been the shot that's dominated the first set.
So then, why are you content to stay back and lob?
I agree completely. I don't understand Ricky's unwillingness to start with the forehand grip and look to attack the forehand a little bit.
Yeah, you're conceding before the toss is even made. You're conceding.
And this is too high a level of paddle to concede your forehand. You can't do that. I've seen Ricky hit a bunch of good forehands. I know it's a good shot. Just has to be more aggressive with it. Okay. Ricky Heath to serve, start the second set. Let's see if these guys can turn this thing around. Great blitz by Max. Love that look, just missed it wide. Great serve. That's so patient of Max. That's a ball he could have driven, but he's willing to wait for not the 50-50 ball, the 60-40 ball, but the 80-20 ball.
I think you're just making up percentages, Mark. 48% of the people out there can recognize that.
That's a great lob. Juan and Max got caught watching there.
So, Mark, just last week after a league match, someone had lost the first set 6-0, and they ended up losing the match, but they said, what should we do? We lost 6-0. I'm like, well, one thing's for certain, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And Ryan and Ricky have not changed formations. They have not switched. They have not given any different looks. And I think just giving different looks is going to give you a better chance. Make them take different swings than the ones that you just lost 6-1 to.
Great ball from Max. I agree with that completely, and that's the beauty of our game, is it's so easy to switch it up, change things. I mean, this game they're up 40-30 on, but they really have not done much different. They've just gotten away with it a few shots.
And this is the first point of the match where Ricky's on the ad side, is that right?
Yeah, short lobs.
Maybe that's why.
And there again is what we talked about earlier, bad technique. He's athletic enough to get away with it most of the time, but not all the time. This is a critical hold for them, especially up 40 love.
So a more disciplined team will beat a more athletic team 80% of the time, and vice versa.
Especially when the athleticism is pretty equally matched.
They don't know who's taking those overheads, Mark.
So little communication between them. Same thing, great lob. That's classic paddle. Juan lobs down the line. Max looks for the cross-cut overhead, blitzes.
And he's sitting on it.
Catches Ryan right in the chest. Break point. Ryan and Ricky have to have this game. Impatient. Yeah, I'd like to see a change in formation from these guys. Just as indicated earlier, they've got to do something different. If you continue the same strategy that's been ineffective, that's the definition of insanity, isn't it? I know you know a lot about the definition of insanity, Brian.
Well, I can't define it, but yeah, I think you're right.
1-love, second set. And
I don't even mind that shot by Ricky. It's the first ball he's taken off the deck.
at least he
Has
hit
a
it.
drive on the, yeah. No, I had mentioned yesterday, but to make it a little more personal, there's a difference between Denny English's return and mine. I'm returning to make the guy make a volley, and Denny's hitting it to
Win the point.
Win the point. That's right. And Ricky is not even driving the ball. I think Ricky should be making the guys make a volley at the very least.
The other thing I noticed Ryan doing that I don't like is he's reaching up for the ball. So he's making contact with the ball shoulder high, and there's nowhere to swing at that point in terms of getting any height on the lob, as opposed to letting the ball drop to waist level, and then you can finish high. That incidentally was, I think, Max's first fault of the day.
Yeah, I think he only had one yesterday, too.
Yeah.
He's been serving very, very well.
Yeah, I see the pressure starting to impact Ricky and Ryan with the overhead starting to lob better and starting to miss. 30-15.
And it's 6-1-1-0. They're still giving Ryan different looks.
Juan was on that ball.
He was, but those are the points that Ryan and Ricky need to get in there. They're winning so many of their chaos points throughout the tournament, and there's only been a handful of them. And then you follow it up with that.
Well, you're standing there, you allow him to serve to your backhand, and you miss a backhand lob. I mean, there were so many mistakes in that point, I can't even begin to count.
You're at 2.
Wow, that was an impatient swing.
And this is what happens sometimes. You know, you get a little volatile. You start swinging away, you're not going to get there. I mentioned it yesterday too, but in other sports, when you make mistakes, whether it's football or basketball, whatever, you turn the ball over, you can sprint back, you can hit someone, and that forehand looked like Ryan was ready to hit someone.
Did you see Ryan serve there? Ricky wasn't even really set at the net when Ryan started that service motion. It's a great volley.
I got to say it again. I said I wasn't going to, but Ricky should be taking these overheads. Juan just hit 7 balls in a row.
Well, it comes down to they just don't have a strategy at the net. Every time Ricky hits that overhead, Max is blitzing the sidewire.
Yes.
And watch how Juan fills in behind him, like there, helping out in the middle.
Leave that ball short on in either spot, you're in trouble. Missed it.
Constant pressure. Every overhead, they're under pressure. Love 30. Even that ball, bad overhead, good swing by Juan, just missed it. 15-30. 15-40. Kent was on that score. He just had it a little early.
A little tennis volley there by Ryan.
Yeah.
A lot of motion.
Just too easy. Good teams ask questions, and I don't see Ricky and Ryan asking them any questions. I see them doing the same thing over and over again. 6-1-3 love. Maybe we'll see a change of formation now because it's pretty clear that what they're doing isn't working. Maybe we have to be talking a little bit more about Max and Juan and what they are doing, because it's certainly been impressive. Their performance this weekend has been dominant, to say the least. That Conti forehand is not beating a good player. Great volley.
It was a good volley, but Ricky's still standing behind the baseline. Juan's going to make that volley. You get in his face, maybe he gets an error, maybe you make him try to stuff it from lower than the net. Ricky hasn't taken one step this whole point. He was just setting it up. He knew what he was doing.
So flat-footed. And there's the lack of technique that we talked about earlier. Got himself in trouble. Yeah, I think it's almost time to start speculating on whether Max and Juan are going to play more together this season. I know they're scheduled to play Short Hills. Juan's scheduled to play Boston and Nationals with Leonard Jonassen. But after seeing these guys play, Max is playing with Corey Parr, brilliant young newcomer. There's a good lob. But Juan has really found a comfort level with Max that he hasn't had since he played in the 2012-2013 season with Leonard.
A couple of nice digs by Ryan.
But there's the safe spot. Never want to go around them. You always want to go through them in platform tennis. Court's too small. 40-15.
Even if he executes that ball, the ball's coming back anyways. You got to give him a chance to miss it.
Oh, Max misses a rare volley.
Well, he reached for it, and it's one thing he's done so beautifully through the whole tournament is that he knows his role. He's locked it down. He's only missed a handful of volleys because every one he volleys is going to hit him. It's right there.
Yeah, Brad Easterbrook has a great video, PPTA video, on volleying in your picture frame. And Max got out of his picture frame there. They're switching in the backcourt now, as you called. Now let's see if Juan and Max go to the middle.
If Ricky's looking to hit that backhand, he needs to probably have two hands on the paddle.
I like the new look. Wasn't effective, but at least it was something different. Love 4. There's Max cheating up again for that short overhead. Great shot by Ryan, great move by Max. $15 all. Whenever Juan lobs down the line, you see Max taking 2 steps in and a step over to the side wire, looking for that overhead.
Desperation.
Desperation is the mother of invention. And they haven't invented anything yet. 15-30. Now Juan's baiting him, asking him to hit that shot. 15-40, 5 points from the end of the match.
Juan's a master at that. When you can see that your team is lacking some self-confidence, it's not a bad play just to throw in some soft shots that you know they got to believe in to hit, and if you lack that belief, it's going to end in an error. Just keep dumping to them.
But again, I love the patience and tempo from Max and Juan, just waiting for the right ball. I have so much confidence that their lobbing is going to get them the right shot. $30-40. Ricky and Ryan don't look like they're interested in changing it to that now. There we go.
Again, a miscommunication on whose overhead that is. They both go back, prepare to swing at it. 5-0.
And then stand in the middle of the court. Okay, so if you're coaching someone else against Max and Juan, what would you be suggesting they do more of?
Well, I keep saying the same thing because no one's done it. But you're letting Juan dictate play from the backcourt and from the front court. You got to make Max be the deciding factor here, and it has not been the case. And to Max's credit, he's been rock solid. And
He's answered all the questions they've asked him. Unfortunately, in their case, they haven't asked many questions.
I know what Ryan's doing there. When you lob cross court, you're setting yourself up for some offense. But when you're lobbing cross court to Juan,
Well, that was a swing of frustration, wasn't it? They've hit my best 2 shots. They volleyed them back. I'm going to hit it harder this time.
wouldn't have mind seeing that forehand swing though in the first game of the match.
Agreed. Got to send a message to your opponent. I've got some offense.
Got to show it to him.
It's a great athletic play. A little too aggressive there from Max. Great volley from Juan. 30-15. Still in the I formation, still giving Ryan different looks.
This ball's going at Juan. Nope. Figured 6-1, 5-0. Ryan's forehand. Might get a little frustrated. Tattoo it a little bit.
Double match point. And there it is.
Tournament champions.
6-love and a dominant performance.
The entire tournament.
Boy, I sure hope we see some more of these guys as the year goes on. Maybe they could be the team that really presents some issues to Mark and Johan.
That was certainly impressive.
At this point, they're not scheduled to play any events together in the tournaments that Mark and Johan are in. I know Mark and Johan are not playing Short Hills. That's the next time we're supposed to see Max and Juan.
Well, individually, I think both, they're not a team the rest of the year, and they both have to take some confidence away from this tournament, individually.
We're going to come back with an interview with the winners in a moment. We're going to thank our sponsors first. Just before we sign off, I want to thank Brian, who did a terrific job.
Thanks for having me, Mark. It was
fun.
fun.
A pleasure. We'll have to do it again, Brian.
Anytime.
Hi there, I'm Ben Porter, Viking brand manager and part of the product development team. This is the Reignite series with the Reignite and the Reignite Lite. They're very popular because of their oversized heads, which gives players a lot more sweet spot to work with. They also have the Spintex technology for getting that extra grit on the paddle, and also have the low foam core density for extra touch. These are great paddles for tennis players who are transitioning into the game that play with oversized tennis rackets.
Hang on. I'm not just drinking this light beer. I'm enjoying it. Because I can actually taste it. Finally.
When you're ready for a light beer you can taste, you'll know. Corona Light.
The Kenwood Country Club. I'm joined by the winners of the 2015 Midwesterns, Juan Araya and Max Lepivert. Congratulations, guys. You played great. Talk to me a little bit about the plan of the finals and how you guys dominated everybody.
I think, I've been playing pretty badly lately, but this weekend everything happened to work, and exciting. I think that I played a little slower than usual, and that helped. This guy is super fast, so I can rely on his speed a little bit. I don't have words to describe. We played pretty well. I never say that I play well, but this weekend we played great as a team. We played very well. I'm impressed.
Max, I didn't see any eye rolls from Juan out there. That's kind of a remarkable accomplishment on your part.
Yeah, I think for me to go through almost an entire tournament without an eye roll is must be like there must be an award for that. But I got to say, Juan could not have been a better partner. He allowed me to stay relaxed and allow me to play my game, and then I just kind of play off of him, and let him do his thing, and then just there for him when he needs me. It really felt like we played together. He played slower, which I think helped us a lot.
Now, I got a text from Mark Parsons, and he thinks he can work you guys in the number 4 slot on the Region 2 President's Cup team this year. You guys excited about that?
We're super excited. We want to win President's Cup. I think we have a pretty decent region, and we can defend the title this year.
Now, where are we going to see you guys again? Because this was a dominating performance, and a lot of people think that maybe you're the team to give Parsons and Durant some trouble.
We got a long plane ride back home, so we'll talk things over there, but I think there's a lot of chemistry there.
Okay, guys.
And we're playing Short Hills together. I'm playing Boston with Leonard, and I think Max is playing with Corey, and we're playing Short Hills, and then I don't know what the schedule is after that. Yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations, guys. Great performance, and a lot of fun to watch. So signing off from Cincinnati, we'll see everybody again with some live streaming from Boston in 2 weeks.